again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where we get you caught up on some of the latest news and tidbits tied to our favorite team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Thank you to everyone who has liked the previous episode. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. I'm predicting Monday, Tuesday, one of those days. 10,000 will be changing the fit. Once we get to 10,000, the orange quarter zip will get the day off. I'm guessing Monday or Tuesday. That's what, I hope I'm right. But that's where we're at on the subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who has already subscribed and to all of you who have become members of the Browns' latest dog pound. Woof, woof. Remember, that's when we used to do the ball. Woof, woof. Doesn't woof anymore. The ball's had enough. The Browns will do that to you sometimes. It'll take a lot out of you being a Browns fan, especially if you're a Browns ball. And thank you to everyone who gets their comments down there in the viewer comment section. Now, coming up on today's show, a major television network hands out some mid-season NFL awards. And when you see who's on it, it's only going to frustrate you even more. The way Dillon Gabriel has played, mostly his first 4 games, the way he's played is exactly the way Kevin Stefanski wants him to play. But it's also the reason we're never going to win a Super Bowl with him. The prediction pen. The prediction pen does not get a bye week. I'm sorry, folks. And so it's going to tell us how the rest of the season is going to go. But as we always do, we give it the warm-up question. And the warm-up question is always the same. Will this be a good show? It's unclear. Ask again. Will this be a good show? If you're lucky. Every week it says if you're lucky. It's strange how it knows. Interesting. And then down in the viewer comments, what's the best way to remedy all of the Browns' problems? But first things first. 2 Cleveland Browns are on the mid-season awards handed out by CBS Sports. This is a panel of 14 voters across the entire network. So it's not like just one guy giving his opinion. They voted for things like MVP, offensive and defensive players of the year so far, and some other things. We're only honing in on our guys. And when you see this, one, you won't be surprised. The other one, you'll be like, all right. And then you're going to go, oh, man, this defense, we're wasting it. Here they are. CBS Sports says their defensive player of the year right now is Myles Garrett. 31 tackles, 10 sacks, 1 forced fumble. The 10 sacks, that's leading the league. That'll get you defensive player of the year, or DPOY, as they like to call it sometimes. And then defensive rookie of the year, Carson Schwarzenegger, 25 solo tackles, 39 assists, a sack and an interception. He had a 12 tackle performance against Minnesota. Those kind of stats will get you the defensive rookie of the year, or the D-Roy, as some people like to say. And now let the frustration set in, because you're going to start thinking back to how much we've wasted this defense, because those 2 are just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's the entire defense that has played so well. And yes, I know the Baltimore game. And yes, I know what happened last week in New England, but it's not on them. I mean, they're on the field so much, and there's so much psychologically that goes into that too, because you keep going out there and you're shutting down these high-powered offenses for as long as you possibly can. And then you get to that point where, like, it's halfway through the third quarter and your offense has just done absolutely nothing. It's only human nature. You're like, we're never going to be able to do this. Like, we're never going to be able to keep them close enough for us to score enough points to win this game. And so, whether it's in your head or not, I mean, it's just human nature for you to think just, oh boy. And so, our defense wore out in those games. And so, it is what it is. But all I know is we are wasting what looks to be a championship level defense this season because of the offense. Speaking of which, when you're quarterback in the Kevin Stefanski offense, you quarterback the Stefanski way. And for the most part, Dillon Gabriel is quarterbacking the way Kevin Stefanski wants his quarterbacks to quarterback, which is take care of the ball, don't turn it over. But it's also the reason we're never, ever, ever going to win with this way of thinking. And it's because we don't stretch the field. We don't move the ball. We don't score points. This offense does nothing. So doing it this way doesn't work. And if you need a refresher of how things are going, Gabriel, in his debut, 19 for 33, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That's exactly what Stefanski wants. And that's the game, of course, we blew at the end. The defense couldn't hold Minnesota. But there was some sketchiness even before that, some play calls and things that we did on the offensive side that saved them time and coaching decisions. And we called timeout for them. I mean, just boneheaded decisions. So it's not completely on the defense. And then his second start was when we decided to throw him over 50 times, because everybody does that with their rookie in their second game. Oh, well, by the way, we're at Pittsburgh, because that's such an easy place to play. 221, no TDs, no picks. Oh, well, that was the game between those first 2 games, he probably should have had 8 picks. Third start, 13 for 18, 116. That was Miami, where you didn't have to do much. The defense did everything for you. And that's the only way we win, if the defense does everything. And so against a crappy team like Miami, they come out and said they're not firing Mike McDaniel. And everybody, though, hates Tua because after watching that game on Thursday night, he's brutal. He's another one throwing to ghosts and like they're rolling out on 4th down and he's just laying down and not throwing. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, he is just all over the place. And then, of course, last Sunday, he threw his first 2 picks. He had the 2 touchdowns, but looked brutal getting there. And so... doing it this way, this bubble wrap way of quarterbacking and play calling, you can't win this way. You just can't. And so we're never winning a Super Bowl by doing it the way Kevin Stefanski wants his quarterbacks to play. And so even though Gabriel is giving him exactly what he wants, it's not a winning formula. Bottom line, that's it. His QBR is a 25.8, which is last in the league. That is insane, his quarterback rating. 25.8, Dillon Gabriel. Like, that is brutal. 4.9 yards per pass attempt. Somebody said in the comments, Kevin Stefanski might go out for Halloween as a head coach. And I said, well, but he might only make it 5 yards up each driveway. He wouldn't get any candy. So even though, he's wearing a good costume, he'd only go 5 yards up the driveway and then not get any candy. He's averaging less than 200 passing yards a game, barely 1 touchdown. I mean, less than 60% completion rate. It's just, these stats are brutal. You're not winning games doing that. You're just not. So something's got to give. Something has to give, whether it's Gabriel, Stefanski, or both. I choose both, but I also choose Stefanski, no play calling. And I mean, we could test him out as just being the head coach. That's fine. But I don't know. It is what it is. So now let's get some real answers because this is the only place you can get real answers during the NFL season. It is with the prediction pen. And we are not, because normally we do the game that's coming up. No game this week. We're on a bye. So we are doing the rest of the season. How is the rest of the season going to play out? And we're talking about quarterbacks. So the first question for the prediction pen is, will we see Shedeur Sanders play quarterback for the Browns this season? If you're lucky. I agree with it. Okay. If Shedeur Sanders does play, will he play better than Dillon Gabriel? Dude, no way. Whoa, prediction pen. You're going to get your butt kicked. You better watch out. I totally disagree with the prediction pen, by the way. Comments made by the prediction pen are no reflection of the host of this show, just so you know. There's your disclaimer. Prediction pen. Will Kevin Stefanski give up play calling at some point? No brainer. All right. Well, that's good. We want that. Here's another good question. Will Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Barry be fired before next season? No brainer. After a slow start, prediction pen might be bouncing back here. All right. We just talked about the defense and how the defense has to do everything for us to win. So the question is, will the defense continue to ball out in the second half of the season and keep us in games? It's unclear. Ask again. Will the defense continue to ball out and keep us in games? Without a doubt. So we better figure out something on the offensive side because the defense is going to keep on balling out. And this is the most important. This is it. Because we still have a chance to make the playoffs. It might be like 0.3%, but we still have a chance. Look at the Ravens. Like they got Lamar back and they're acting like they're 6-2, not 2-6. They win, they're not 3-6. Like it's a mindset too, folks. All right, here's the question. Will the Browns make the playoffs? Without a doubt. Oh my goodness. That means Shador's playing. That's for sure. There's no doubt. And Stefanski won't be calling plays. That's for sure too. Maybe we should ask a bonus question. Should we ask about play calling? We should. We should ask about play calling. Will Kevin Stefanski continue to call plays for the entire season? It's unclear. Ask again. Will Kevin Stefanski continue to torture us by calling plays the rest of the season? Wow. Unclear again. Prediction pen. Whoa. Last time. Here we go. Will Kevin Stefanski continue to call plays for the rest of the season? No brainer. Yeah, that's about right, prediction pen. Yeah, I think you're right on that one. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad if that's the case. Oh, boy, oh, boy. But, hey, Browns are going to the playoffs without a doubt, according to the prediction pen. I like that. Now, down to the viewer comments. And this is our first. We have a point counterpoint viewer comment. We begin with I Am Groot. And remember, Guardians of the Galaxy, best ride at Epcot. Might be the best, most entertaining roller coaster I've ever been on, Guardians of the Galaxy. I Am Groot says, how many teams can start 3 to 5 rookies on offense and win games? I thought, yeah, you're right. I mean, you still have to, kind of give that. But most of those rookies are on defense. Well, let's see. Judkins, Sampson. I guess it's about even. Rookies on each other. But then the counterpoint came from Universe B, who said, simply the Giants. And he's right. Now, here's what I'll say about this. The Giants are starting rookies, just like we are. But when you look at the Giants offense, and it just stinks that Cam Scatabo is gone for the rest of the season. But that combination of Scatabo with Jackson Dart, when you watch Jackson Dart play, like you look at it and you go, well, that's a guy that looks like he belongs in the NFL. But when you look at our guy, you don't get that same kind of feeling. And that is the difference. That is the difference. Now, I think everybody felt that way about Shador when he played that preseason game against Carolina, and then when they stuck him in there with the 4s and the 5s on that Rams game, that was completely different. But I'm just saying that Friday night, that Carolina preseason game, that's the feeling everybody had. That's the feeling everybody wants because that looked like a guy who could ball out in the NFL. So, and that's how I think looking at Jackson Dart compared to Dylan Gabriel, it's opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay, 801 RBD says, best way to remedy these problems, meaning everything we've talked about all week, is you fire the owner. The problem is the owner would have to fire himself. And the only way he could fire himself is he would have to sell the team, which Todd O. Pakic, 1222, counterpointed and said, absurd. When have we had a better owner? They are putting billions back into the area. They let their personnel run the team, although right now they may need to step in. And he actually that was actually a great point. And that's one of the things you tend to forget about with Haslam because everybody's so wound up about Stefanski and for Barry keeping his job too. Like everybody so gets wrapped up in that. Like, why doesn't he get rid of these guys? Like you lose sight of the fact that he got the stadium deal done. Now you're going to get downtown fixed up finally. They're gonna, they're going to add some things and develop downtown. And so, and that's Haslam kind of pushing that envelope. Now, on the flip side of that is, this is why we may not see anything close to a winner with this team until 2029, or there's going to be a slow build up to it, which that makes a little more sense. But no, he's right. Haslam has some, he's done some good things, and for better or worse, he does let, because before he got too involved. Now people still think he's still too involved. It's hard to tell sometimes, but I do think he's involved because when he gets out there, he only talks like once or twice a year, and he always says something that you're like, don't stop. He'll say some things, but he is the one that said both rookie quarterbacks will play this year. So he's on the hook for that. So we fully expect to see Shedeur once this Dylan Gabriel experiment, which is already over, is completely over. But I thought that was a great counterpoint. If only we could, the only way the owner can get fired is he's got to fire himself, which is selling the team. Mark, I3P2E adds on to the firing the owner take with, that's like walking next door to your neighbor's house and telling him that he's selling his house. So I'm like, yeah, well, I guess it is. So, but if somebody can walk over to Haslam and tell him to sell, maybe he'll say, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe just nobody, that's the thing, Mark. Maybe nobody's told him that he should yet. Maybe he hasn't figured it out yet. And we'll end today with Nevada Ross, 1129, who says he thinks the stats that we showed on Bill Callahan on our offensive line when he was here are not very good, but at least not at the bottom. Yeah, they were like mid. I mean, which like right now you look at everything and we're brutal. Like we're even behind Miami in some statistics. And so that's what I'm saying. It was way better, but it feels so much better than, when you look back on it, like, man, you think about that, the way our offensive line and how we were blocking and Chubb was running and, everything that was going on, like we were mid-level. That's how bad we are now. That's the thing. You look at this team now, it just feels terrible, looks terrible. Everything's terrible about it. But when you look back and think back on the Bill Callahan days, you're like, yeah, that line was humming. And it actually wasn't. It was mid, which we'll take. We would take that at this point. If we had a mid offensive line right now, I mean, shoot, we could be 6-2 for all you know. So, but Nevada Ross, great take. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much. We'll continue to climb to 10,000. We'll change the fit once we get there. Hope everybody had a happy Halloween. And, yeah, Halloween's fun. I like Halloween. It's the candy. What do you do? I don't really dress up, though, anymore. The kids used to dress up. But that was fun when we do that. But, all right, I'm calling high school football games on Friday, so a little bit different now. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. Go Browns! We'll see you next time.